why are you rushing away like this?
Because I can't stand the way you carry on around here. You pay no attention to my wishes anymore. My views have been opposed at every turn. You respect nothing. Oh, this house says exactly what they want to do. It's like a madhouse.
But what do you?
You mess or a servant. Far too ready with your tongue and most impertinent. You are far too easy with your words, if you ask me.
Grandmother, listen
You,
to me.
my lad, are in a word a fool. You can take that from me. Many a times I've told my son, that's your father, that you're going to the bad and you're going to cause him nothing but trouble and grief.
I can't believe
You mess are his sister. Very sensible enough. But you know what they say, still waters run deep. You put on a very sweet act. But you know, they don't make tongues wag. You go on behind our backs, and I don't like it.
But mother-in-law, don't you think it's hot?
As a daughter-in-law, your behavior is thoroughly atrocious. You know, many a times, the poor dead mother did her duties far better. You should be setting them a good example. You have expensive taste. You go and dress like a princess. And you know what they say? If you want to please only your husband, a wife who wishes to please only her husband, you don't have to be so concerned about her appearance.
But on the other hand, don't you think...
You, as Elmire's brother. You know, I have great respect and regard for you. But you know, if I were in my son's place, I would strongly advise you not to set foot in this house ever again. You go about preaching rules of conduct no respectable man should be able to follow. You know, I don't mince my words. I normally don't. I don't beat around the bush when I have something to say.
Your Tartuffe must be quite exceptional then.
Oh, he's a good man and an exceptional man needs to be listened to. You know, it makes me extremely angry when he's being abused by imbeciles like you.
But why should I allow some carping sanctimonious bigot to come here and behave like a bully? To the point where we can't enjoy ourselves. Unless His Mightiness was granted gracious permission.
Well, if you were to believe everything he said and everything he did, there wasn't anything that anyone says that isn't a sin. Basically, he's a pious busybody who rules the roost.
Any roosty rolls is well ruled. All he wants to do is set you on a path to salvation. And my son should do everything in his power to make you love him.
Never, grandmother. Neither my father nor anyone else can force me to like a man. I'd be a hypocrite if I said otherwise. I find the way he behaves absolutely infuriating. I can see only one look. I and the stroke are going to have it out in a big way.
Yes, it's an absolute scandal that a nobody like him should just walk in and take over. When he first came in, he didn't have shoes on his feet and clothes one couldn't give away. But now he has gotten so above everybody that he pokes his nose into everybody's affairs and orders everybody about.
Oh, mercy be. We should all be listening to his saintly commandments.
You only believe he's a saint. Believe me, everything he says and does is hypocrisy.
Listen to the girl talk.
Well, I wouldn't trust him or his man Laurel Ada without a written guarantee.
Well, I can't say much about that servant, but, you know, the master's quite a good man by himself. I can vouch for it. The only reason you resent him and won't listen to him because he tells each one of you unpleasant truths. His whole being is offended by sin. And, you know, doing God's work is his only purpose.
Oh, is it so? Then why is it that only lately he has a problem with visitors coming into the house? What could be so sinful about a straightforward visit to justify the terrific fuss that he makes? Do you want to know the real reason? Just between ourselves, I believe he's in love with the mistress. So then,
Be quiet and mind what you say. All these people that you know about create a nuisance for themselves. There are motors waiting outside. They make dreadful noises and create a bad impression upon the neighborhood. Well, I can't say that's much of the problem down here, but the fact that people are gossiping, that is something I don't like about it.
But surely, Madam Parnell, you're not suggesting that we do away with conversation. Life would be much the poorer if we had to get rid of our best friends just because some silly people were saying unpleasant things about us. And even if we really wanted to, you think that we can stop everyone from talking? Let's just go on leading good lives and the gossips can say what they like.
do you suppose it's that Daphne and her nasty little husband who are spreading rumors about us? People who live in glass houses tend to throw mud at others. By painting others with their own brush, They hope to justify what they do themselves.
All this discussion is quite besides the point. You know, we all know that her aunt is setting us a good example. All she ever wants to do is doing God's work. But, you know, sometimes I always wonder, what is it that you're always going about talking about like this?
Well, that's a fine example that you're setting. She's certainly a great person with high principles. But it is also common knowledge that it's age that has set the fire in her soul. She's such an awful prude only because she doesn't have a choice. As long as men were finding her attractive, she was making the most of it. Believe me, these self-righteous ladies are very strict. They damn everybody and show no mercy. They point accusing fingers at others, not out of Christian charity, but by envy, because when they see others enjoying their lives, they realize that it is way beyond their reach, all these pleasures.
Oh, you know, daughter-in-law, this is the kind of utter nonsense that you need to keep yourself happy all day long, I see. I'm not allowed to have a word in edgeways, for this hussy never stops talking. But you know, I intend to tell you something. My son did the best thing by inviting a saintly man under his roof. The Lord sent him here, where he was most needed, to help you all stray back from the path to which you have strayed. Do I see this gentleman sniggering? Daughter-in-law, why don't you find something else to laugh about? All of you. I have something to tell you. I intend to leave this house just now. But you can take it from me that this house has gone down a long way in my estimation, and it'll be a long time before I ever set foot ever in it again.
Oh, but Mother...
Come on, you what? What are you getting at? Come on, shift yourself. You lazy good for nothing. Oh my God, give me patience.
Mother-in-law, please listen to me.
I'm not going after her in case she turns on me again. Why that old girl?
Well, it's a pity she didn't hear you talk, for she would have dismissed you in no uncertain terms that she's far too young to be called an old girl.
But to let fly at us for so little. She must be absolutely smitten with this Tartuffe of hers.
Well, if you have seen her son lately, you would certainly believe that he's way, way worse. During the times of war, the master had made a name for shrewdness and was very loyal in the service of the army. But ever since he's come in the grip of Tartuffe, he's completely lost himself. He calls him brother and loves him much more than his own wife, mother, son or daughter. He regards him a prudent adviser and tells him all his silly little secrets. He spoils and pampers him, and I suspect he couldn't be fonder of a mistress. He insists on putting him at the head of the table and watches him delightedly while this man eats enough for 6. And when the man belches, all that the master says is, God bless you. All of which convinces me that the master is completely mad about Tartuffe. Well, Tartuffe, on the other hand, knows a fool when he sees one and has made up his mind to pull the wool over the master's eyes and is finding subtle ways of getting money out of the master with his sanctimonious humbug, and stops not to pass judgment on as many of us as catch his eye.
It was a good thing you weren't there to hear the oration she gave us at the door. Good Lord. I got a glimpse of my husband, but he didn't see me. I'm going upstairs. I'll wait for him there.
And I'll wait for him here. It'll be easier. I just want to say hello.
Do talk to him about my sister's marriage. I suspect Tartuffe is against it. And that's it's he who's making my father drag his heels. If my sister and my friend Molière are in love, I, as you know, am no less attached to Moliere's sister, and I could do anything to get to marry Moliere's sister.
He's coming.
Good morning, brother-in-law.
Morning, brother. Glad to see you home again. The countryside was looking very dead this time of year.
Doreen, excuse me, brother, if you'll allow me, I'll make a few inquiries to put my mind at rest about how things are here. How's everything been these past 2 days? What's everyone been up to? Is everything all right?
The day before yesterday, the mistress had a touch of fever which lasted till last evening, and an awful headache which was most worrying.
And Tartuffe?
Tartuffe? Well, hale and hearty, pink of health, fine as a fettle, roses in his cheeks.
Poor man.
After which, the headache did not cease, and the mistress could not eat a morsel of food.
And Tartuffe?
Tartuffe? Well, he dined alone with the mistress and made devout work of a couple of partridge and half a leg of mutton cut up small.
Poor man.
Oh, well, she could sleep all night because the fever would not subside.
And Tartuffe?
Tartuffe? Oh, well, he rose up from dinner, went straight up to his room, jumped right into a warm little bed, and slept like a log till the next morning.
Poor man.
In the end, she listened to us and agreed to be bled. She felt easier almost at once.
And Tartuffe?
Oh, he picked himself up manfully, armed himself to face adversity, and downed 4 large glasses of wine to make up for all the blood that the mistress has lost.
Oh, poor man.
Now that the two of them are quite well again, I'll run along and tell Madame that you're very anxious to see how she's coming along.
She was mocking you to your face, brother. And without wishing to anger you, I have to say that I agree with her. Did anyone speak so unthinkingly?
Not another word, brother. You speak of him, but you do not know what he is like.
Yes, I don't know what he's like, but to know what sort of man he is.
Brother, you would be delighted to meet him, and you would go on endlessly being delighted, for he is, in a word, a man. Yes, anyone who follows his teaching strictly will attain perfect peace and come to regard everyone else as scum. Yes, I am a changed man after I have come under instruction. He teaches me to be emotionally detached and free from all ties of love. To the point where now I could watch happily as my mother, my wife, my children all die, and I wouldn't care tuppence.
Those are very human sentiments, brother, I must say.
Brother, if only you knew how I met him, you would be exactly as I said. Enthralled. Yes, he would appear in church every day, all meek and mild, and go down on both knees. And he would attract the attention of the entire congregation with the fervor with which he prayed to heaven. He would sigh and cry and kiss the ground at every conceivable opportunity. And as I left, he would run ahead to the door to offer me holy water. As I got to know about him through his servant, who behaves exactly the way he does, about his poverty and what kind of a man he was, I decided to offer him money. But being modest as he was, he refused. He said, "This is too much by half. I don't deserve your pity." And when I refused to take it back, he would distribute the money among the poor as I watched. Eventually, heaven decided to guide me, to invite him to my home. I decided to give him a room. Yes. And since then I observe that everything is seeming to prosper here. He finds fault with everything. And he takes a special interest in my wife. To protect my honor, he tells me about anyone who's trying to flirt with her. He is 10 times more jealous than I am.
God, you're crazy, brother. Or at least that's how it seems to me. You're putting me on, surely, by talking like this.
Oh, there is a ring of unbelief to your tone. I sense a streak of atheism in your heart. And as I warned you a score of times before, you will bring on yourself some serious trouble one of these days.
That's how people like you are. Always wanting everyone to be just as blind as them. Anyone who has the eyes to see is an atheist. And anyone who doesn't fall for your psalm-singing tomfoolery has neither respect nor reverence for what is holy. Your words don't scare me. God knows what's in my heart. Not all of us fall for self-righteous bigots. There are bogus men of God, just as there are bogus men of cult.
Ah, so you are a man of intelligence. The kind people look up to. The sole repository of all the knowledge in the world. You are so enlightened. You are a new Cato of our times, an oracle. Compared to you, all men are fools.
I'm no learned man, nor am I the repository of knowledge in the world. But there is one thing that I do know, and that is how to tell true from false. There are the men who display spectacular fervor, turning the path of heavenly salvation into one of earthly fortunes. They're ablaze with faith, and they pray like publicans, always having their hands held out. They preach withdrawal from the world to others, while they themselves go on enjoying life at court. They trim their zeal to suit their vices. And when someone needs to be brought down, they have the effrontery to use religion as a cover for their self-serving malice. They bring us all down with weapons we love and respect. They tear us down with the sword of God. Such sham and fraud is all too prevalent. But men of true faith, they're easy to spot. Their piety is humane and tolerant. They don't criticize every single thing that you do. They see an arrogance behind carping of that kind.
Is that all you had to say?
Yes.
Then I'm obliged to you.
Just one moment, brother. One last word. You remember that you gave Molière your word that he shall marry your daughter?
I do.
And that you set the wedding date?
Correct.
Why have you put the wedding off?
I couldn't say.
Do you mean to go back on your word?
I didn't say that.
But I don't see any obstacle in you keeping your word.
That's as may be.
Why must you prevaricate and not just give me a straight answer? Molière asked me to speak with you.
Ah, heaven be praised.
And what am I to tell him?
Whatever you like.
But I must know what's on your mind. What do you plan to do?
Whatever God wills.
Let's not beat about the bush. You gave Molière your word. You plan to keep it? Yes or no?
Goodbye.
Afraid Molière is going to be disappointed in matters of love. Must go let him know how things stand.
Marianne,
Father,
I have something to tell you in private.
what are you looking for?
I'm just making sure there's no one about who can hear us. This little room is perfect for eavesdroppers. It's all right. We're safe. I've always thought of you as a sweet-natured girl, Marianne. You've always been very close to my heart.
I'm thankful to know I have a father's love.
That's well said, my girl, and to deserve it, you should have no other thought than to do exactly what pleases me.
I take the greatest pride in doing so.
Excellent. What do you think of our guest Tartuffe?
What do I think?
Yes, you, and be careful how you talk about him.
Then I'll say anything you like about him.
Well said, my girl. Then say that his many qualities shine out of him, that you love him, and you would be pleased if I were to choose him to be your husband. What do you say to that?
Oh!
What's the matter?
I beg your pardon.
What?
Did I hear you correctly?
What do you mean?
Who is this person, Father? I'm supposed to say I love and would be pleased to have if you were to choose as my husband?
Tartuffe?
That's not the way things are at all, Father. I swear. Why do you want me to say something that isn't true?
But I want it to be true. And all I need you to know that is my mind is made up.
But Father...
Yes, my girl. It is my intention to make Tartuffe a member of our family by giving you to him in marriage. He will be your husband, I have decided. And as for your wishes... What are you doing here? Your curiosity, miss. You must be working overtime for you to come creeping upon us like this.
When I first heard the news, I thought it was either speculation or guesswork. But when I first heard about this marriage, I thought it was some sort of a joke.
A joke? Is it unbelievable?
So unbelievable that even if I were to hear it from your own lips, I wouldn't believe it.
I can make you believe it.
Hush, you're spinning us some silly story.
What I'm telling you is exactly what will happen, and soon.
Don't talk rubbish.
My girl, what I'm telling you is no joke.
Don't believe your father. He's having you on.
I'm telling you.
Well, it's no good. We shan't believe you.
If you go on like this, I'll get so angry that...
All right. We shall believe you, and upon your head be it. But how could you, sir? You, who seem so sensible, especially with that venerable beard on your chin, could be crazy enough to...
My girl, you've gotten into a bit of familiarity. And let me tell you, I don't care for it.
Why can't we discuss all this without losing our tempers, sir? Did you come up with the idea of this marriage as some sort of a joke? Your daughter's not the sort who should be wedded to a bigot who should anyways have other things on his mind. In any case, what is this marriage to you? With all the wealth that you have, why on earth would you choose a son-in-law who doesn't have a penny to his name?
Hey, be quiet. If he has nothing, then that is precisely why we should respect him. For it raises him above all material honors. For he has left himself without support of all temporal things, and due to his unswerving attachment of things eternal. Yes. With a little help from me, though, he will be able to rise out of this financial embarrassment and regain full possession of his property. He has estates which are highly thought of in his part of the country. We only have to see him as he is now to realize that he's very much a gentleman.
Yes, as he's always reminding us, it's vanity, sir, and does not square well with piety. For a man who accepts true faith will not be boasting about his name and family connections. For the humility of true faith is hardly supported by ambition of this sort. Why take pride in such things? Take it from me. When a girl is made to marry against her wishes, her virtues are put under severe stress. Her intention to be a faithful wife depends upon the qualities of the husband she is wedded to. And men whose cuckold's horns attract attention are responsible for making their wives the way they are. It's hard to be faithful to a certain kind of husband, and a father who gets his daughter married against her wishes is responsible to God for the sins she may commit. Think of the dangers such a plan of yours may expose you to.
Oh, well, I declare. Am I to let her teach me how to manage my life?
Well, you could do worse than take my advice.
Daughter, we don't have time for all this nonsense. I am your father and I know what is best for you. Yes, I did give my word to Molière. But besides the fact that they say he likes gambling, I also suspect that he's somewhat of a free thinker. I also don't notice that he's much of a church goer.
Oh, well, I say, do you expect him to trot along to church at the hours you fix, only like those who turn up to be seen?
I didn't ask you for your opinion. Tartuffe, on the other hand, he is on the very best terms with God, which is an asset that surpasseth all other earthly riches. There will never be a crossword between the two of you, and you will be able to do whatever you like with him.
Will she? She'll turn him into a cuckold, that's what she'll do, take it from me.
Hush, that's no way to talk.
Well, he looks the type, sir. It's written in his stars, and all your daughter's virtues won't be able to prevent it.
Stop interrupting and stop poking your nose into matters which are none of your business.
Well, I'm only telling you for your own good.
Oh, there's no need to go to such trouble.
Well, if I weren't so fond of you...
I don't want anyone to be fond of me.
But I insist on being fond of you, sir, whether you like it or not.
Oh.
I worry for your reputation. I can't see you becoming the laughing stock and the butt of everybody's sneers.
Won't you ever be quiet?
Well, I can't stand here, see you go ahead with this wedding and keep quiet about it.
Be quiet, you insolent serpent, you...
Temper, you're a man of God, remember.
Yes, all your silly chatter is making my blood boil. If you go on like this, Anyway. My girl, I am your father, and I have decided that what is good for you is to marry Tartuffe.
Well, not being allowed to talk is the most infuriating thing ever.
Tartuffe may be no Adonis, but his looks...
A pretty face, I don't think.
His looks are the kind that even if you don't see any other qualities in him, he is the...
That's her fixed up now. If I were in her place, I tell you, I wouldn't allow a man to marry me against my wishes and hope to get away with it.
Oh.
The wedding would be hardly over before I would let him know that a woman has her own ways and means of getting her own back.
So you refuse to do what I said?
What are you complaining about? I'm not talking to you.
So what are you doing?
Talking to myself.
Good. For her being downright insolent, I'm going to have to punish her by letting her feel the back of my hand. Marianne, you must accept my decision to marry... Why is it that you're not talking to yourself now?
Well, I have nothing to talk to me.
Say one more little word.
Don't want to.
But I wanted you to.
Well, I'm not that stupid.
So, Marianne, being an obedient daughter, you must accept my choice of groom for you without any question.
Well, if I were to be in her place, I would despise myself if I were to go ahead with such a husband.
Oh, this maid of yours is a damn pest. I can't stay in the same room as her any longer. If I did, I'd do something I'll regret. Oh, all her insolent talk is making my blood boil. In any case, I'm not able to carry on with this matter. I need to get a breath of fresh air to calm myself down.
Has the cat got to your tongue? Do I have to be your understudy? You allow him to put you to the craziest of schemes and you don't say a word about it.
But what do you expect me to do against a tyrant of a father?
To stand up to his threats and do whatever it takes, my dear.
Like what?
Well, tell him one cannot love another person to order, and that you will marry to suit yourself and not to please him, and that since it is you that this marrying business is all about, it is you the husband has to please and not him. And if he's so enamored by Monsieur Tartuffe, there is nothing to stop him from marrying him himself.
I admit that fathers have such power over their children that I've never felt brave enough to tell him what I think.
Well, let's work this out. Molière has made a move towards you. So are you in love with him or not?
Doreen, how can you ask such a question? How can you be so unfair to my feelings? Haven't I opened my heart to you any number of times? Surely you know how madly I love him.
Well, how am I supposed to know, my dear, that what your tongue says is what your heart thinks, and that you're really in love with this young man of yours?
It is very wrong of you, Doreen, to doubt it. I've made my feelings all too clear.
So you are in love with Molière?
Yes, madly.
And as far as you can see, he is in love with you too.
I believe he is.
So the two of you want to get married?
Oh, yes.
So what are you going to do about this other marriage business?
I'll kill myself if they make me.
Wonderful. Such a miracle cure. A simple and easy solution to get out of a mess. Oh, I absolutely hate such talk.
Gracious, Doreen, how callous you can be. You have no sympathy for other people's misfortunes.
My dear, I hate it when people talk rubbish and try to get out of a mess in this manner the way you are trying to do now.
But what do you want from me? If I'm not very brave, then...
Well, one has to be strong when one is in love, my dear.
I've never weakened in my love for Molière. Anyway, isn't it up to him to ask my father for permission?
Oh, really? Even if your father is a hardened old curmudgeon who cancels out on a wedding he said could go ahead, it's your poor Molière who is to take the blame.
But won't a flat refusal, a scathing no, be tantamount to admitting how much I love the man I've set my heart on? However wonderful he is, would it be right for me to deny my maidenly modesty and my duty as a daughter on his account? Do you want me to display my feelings for all to see?
No, I don't really want anything anymore, for it's quite obvious to me that you want to marry Monsieur Tartuffe. And coming to think of it, why should I discourage you from such an advantageous step? As far as suitors go, Monsieur Tartuffe is quite an excellent prospect, and you would be really happy with him. Monsieur Tartuffe is a man not without absolute merit. Monsieur Tartuffe, you've got a real catch here. He's a man who has enough to go by him. And he's garnered the respect of everybody out here. And he's anyways respected in the town wherever he comes from. And you'd really be happy. He's ever so handsome with those red ears and that blotchy face.
Stop.
Okay, no, you'd have a song on your lips with such a good-looking husband by your side.
Please stop talking like that and show me how I can get out of this.
No, my dear. A daughter must do her father's bidding even if he wants her to marry an ape. And it's a pretty good outlook at that. What are you complaining about? You'll take the public coach, go to the town where he comes from, which will be oozing with uncles and cousins. You'll enjoy talking to them. You'll go calling on the wives of the town clerk and the local justice of peace, who will make you sit down with them as their equal. And come carnival time, I suspect there will be a ball, an orchestra thrown in with a...
It's more than flesh and blood can bear. Can't you give me any advice that would help me?
No, it's not for me.
Oh, please, Doreen.
No, this wedding will have to go through. It will teach you a lesson.
Doreen!
No.
I've told you how I feel and...
No, Monsieur Tartuffe it is, and Monsieur Tartuffe you shall have.
You know I've never kept any secrets from you, won't you?
No, believe me, my dear, you're going to enjoy being thoroughly Tartuffed.
All right. Since my predicament won't move you, just leave me to my despair. For in despair, I shall find relief. I know a certain cure for all my unhappiness.
Well, don't go on like this. I won't get angry with you anymore. I feel so sorry for you despite everything.
I tell you, Doreen, if they force me to go through with this terrible ordeal, it will kill me.
No, don't go on like this. If we play our cards right, we can set everything to rights. Oh, there's someone at the door. Here's your Molière.
Marianne, there's a story going round and not a very nice one. It was news to me
What is it?
that you're to marry Tartuffe.
It's certainly what my father planned.
Your father?
Has changed his mind. He himself has just this minute put it to me.
What? Seriously?
Yes, seriously. He has his mind set on the match.
Which of these marriages is your heart set on?
I don't know.
Huh, that's a fine answer. You don't know.
No.
No,
What would you advise?
I'd advise you to marry him.
Is that your advice?
Yes,
You mean it?
of course. It's an honor to have been asked and you should think about it very seriously.
Well, if that's your advice, I'll take it.
I don't think you'll find it very hard to follow.
No harder than it was for you to offer it.
Oh, I only offered it to please you.
And I'll take it to please you.
Oh, let's see where all this goes.
Is that what you call love? You were deceiving me when
Let's
you were...
not go into all that, please. You told me straight up that I should agree to marry the man I've been offered. I tell you in return that's precisely what I intend to do. Since your very sensible advice is that I should.
Don't use what I said as an excuse. You've already made up your mind. You're just seizing on a piffling pretext to justify going back on your word.
Quite true. You put it very well.
Of course it's true. You never truly loved me at all.
You're perfectly entitled to think so.
Of course I'm entitled. The sting of rejection might well prompt me to put my retaliation in first. I know. But I can take my affections and find myself another wife.
Oh, I don't doubt it for a moment. And the love that your excellent qualities...
Oh God, let's leave my qualities out of it. I probably don't have many as your behavior shows. But I have a reason to hope that I'll be treated better elsewhere. For I know someone who will have no qualms about consoling me in my loss once she knows I'm free.
What noble, what lofty sentiments.
Indeed they are. And they should commend themselves to everyone. Surely you don't expect me to pine for you eternally and stand idly while you give yourself to somebody else?
On the contrary, that's exactly what I'd like. I wish it had happened already.
Is that what you want?
Yes.
That's a final insult. I shall be on my way and see to it that you get your wish forthwith.
Good.
At least remember that it was you who drove me to this extremity.
I shall.
And in what I'm about to do, I shall be simply following the examples you set.
My example, so be it.
I shall go and see to it that you get what you want.
So much the better.
You'll never see me as long as I live.
Wonderful.
Pardon?
What?
Did you call?
Me. You're imagining things.
Oh.
I see. In that case, I shall be on my way. Goodbye, madame.
Goodbye, sir.
Oh, I just allowed the two of you to go on squabbling to see where all this goes. Are you out of your mind? Come here.
What do you want, Doreen?
Come here, you, and stop it.
No, I'm much too cross. Don't try to prevent me from what she wanted.
Oh, stop it.
No, see, there's nothing more to say.
Oh, really, my dear?
He can't stand the sight of me. He can't bear to be near me. And the best thing for me would be to leave him to it.
Now, where is she going? Oh, you mustn't go.
Out of the question.
Oh, come back.
There's no good trying to make him
Oh,
stay.
come here, the two of you.
I can see that she hates the very sight of me. I'd best go and spare her further pain.
Oh, no, off he goes again. No, really, now. Come back. I won't let you go. Come here. Come here, you.
What's the idea?
Really? The two of you, I must stop you from this silly bickering and get you out of this pickle. You, are you out of your mind quarreling like this?
Didn't you hear how she spoke to me?
And you, my dear, how could you get yourself so cross?
Didn't you see how he treated me?
Oh, well, you're one as silly as the other. You there, you're the only one she loves and wants to belong to, for I can testify. And you're the only one he wants to belong to and whose husband he wants to be. I can stake my life on it.
Then why did he give me such advice?
Why did you ask my advice about such a matter?
Oh, my, both of you. Oh, Lord, give me strength. Best move ahead. Strength, get on with this. Your hand, please.
What good will my hand
Oh,
do?
give me your hand right now. And you, your hand here.
What's the point of all this?
Oh, people in love can really get silly at times. Okay. Hand down.
Do it without looking so pained. Try not to stare at a fella as if you loathed him.
Well, we can argue about that another time, my dear. We need to put an end to this gruesome marriage.
Tell us what steps we should take.
Oh, people in love are so silly. We must take all steps, my dear. As a first move, we must go along pretending and acting very sweetly as if we are siding with your father's mad scheme. That way we get enough time to postpone the wedding. The more time we get, the more we get to set things right. Always remember, nobody gets you to marry anyone except Molière unless you say I do. So, be off. Get your friends to intervene so that her father can keep up his agreed word. That way we can also get his brother-in-law to intervene and also get Marianne's stepmother on our side. So off you go. Goodbye.
Whatever plans we might all have, the best hope really is you.
I can't answer for what my father wants, but I'll never marry anyone but you.
You make me so happy.
Oh, young love is so crazy. You go on chattering all the time.
But just...
Oh, off you go this way, and you go this way.
Strike me dead on the spot. Call me the greatest villain alive. I don't care. There's no power or duty that can hold me back. Nothing. Nothing that will stop me taking matters into my own hands.
Well, easy now. Your father's just made up his mind to go ahead with the other wedding. But there's a huge difference between the thought and the deed. People don't really end up doing what they say, my dear.
I have got to put a stop on the swine's little game. I think I'll have a quiet word with him in private.
Oh, easy. Allow your stepmother to deal with both your father and Tartuffe. I guess he listens to everything she says, and I suspect he has more than just a soft corner for her. I hope to God he does. That would be such a bonus. Well, if you really didn't know, she's planning to have a conversation with him around this wedding that you're so anxious about. She plans to know his position around this, plans to know what he intends, and also intends to point out the unpleasantness that would ensue if he went ahead with his plans. In any case, his man Lauro told me that he's finishing his prayers and coming down any moment to meet Madame.
I could be there while they talk.
What are you saying? Go away out of question.
I won't tell anything to him.
Oh, well, I'm just waiting for him. You must run along. We all know how inflammable you are.
No! I want to see it! I shall lose my temper.
What a nuisance you are. Run along now, darling,
No.
please.
Take away my hair shirt and scourge, and pray that heaven may light your every step. And if anyone asks for me, tell them I am visiting the prisoners, with whom I shall be sharing the meager sums which I myself receive in charity.
What a brass-faced, hypocritical...
What do you want?
To tell you that...
For the love of God, I beg you, before you speak another word, take this handkerchief.
For what?
Cover your bosom, girl.
Well...
For such sights offend the purest soul. They prompt sinful thoughts.
Oh, I must say you're quite susceptible to temptation. For a small glimpse of flesh should tempt you so much. I don't see why you should be so excited. As for me, I don't get excited so quickly. I would dare say that even if you came and stood before me without a stitch on, I would not be tempted by your entire carcass.
Temper your speech with a degree of modesty, or I shall be forced to leave the room.
Oh, you don't have to go anywhere. I shall be the one who's going away. I just came to give you a message.
Yes.
Well, Madame said she will be down any minute, and she's asked you to give her a few moments kindly.
How? Most gladly.
That seems to have sweetened his temper. I still believe what I said is true.
Will she be long?
No, just a few minutes. Well, she's here. I shall leave the two of you together.
May heaven in its infinite goodness ever grant you health of mind and body, and shower you with as many blessings as the most humble of men, whom divine love inspires good wish.
I thank you for your pious thought, but let's sit down. We'll be more comfortable.
How do you feel now? Are you better?
Much better. I had a temperature, but it did not last long.
My prayers are not worthy enough to have secured this blessing from on high. Yet of all the devout petitions which I offered up to heaven, there was not one in which your recovery was not remembered.
Your zeal on my behalf need not have gone to such lengths.
There are no lengths too extreme where your precious health is concerned. And to preserve yours, I would willingly give my own.
That's taking Christian charity rather far, but I thank you for all your kind thoughts.
Anything I can do for you is less than you deserve.
I had a certain matter to talk to you in private. I'm glad no one will overhear us here.
I'm glad too, and very delighted, madame, to be alone with you. Such a moment is something I beseeched heaven to grant me, but my prayers have not been answered until now.
All I ask is a word from you, and that you'll be absolutely open and keep nothing back.
And all I ask too, as a special favor, is that I might open up my heart completely to you and give you my word that anything I might have said about the way your beauty attracts so much company was not the result of personal malice, but rather of a passionate and pure zeal.
Oh, that's exactly how I took it, for I thought you were prompted by a concern for the good of my soul.
Oh, yes, madam, absolutely.
Ouch! You're hurting me.
I got carried away by passion. I didn't mean to hurt you. I would rather have...
What is your hand doing there?
Feeling your dress. The material is so soft.
Please don't. I'm dreadfully ticklish.
My word, how fine this dress is. They're wonderfully clever with their hands these days. Was there ever such workmanship?
Yes, indeed. But to get back to business, they're saying that my husband intends to go back on his word and wants you to marry Mariam. Tell me, is this true?
He did mention something of the sort. But to put matters frankly to you, madame, that's not the happiness which I aspire for. For the wondrous beauty in which I lay all my hope of felicity lies elsewhere.
You mean because you're above all earthly concerns?
The heart that lies within this breast is not made of stone.
I'm sure that all your thoughts are focused on heaven and that there's nothing on this earth that you truly desire.
The love that binds us to beauty eternal does not drive from human hearts the beauties of this world. Our senses are easily moved by the spectacle of heaven's perfect handiwork. Such a shining perfection is reflected in women such as yourself. And in your case, heaven has displayed its rarest wonders. At first, I feared my secret passion was an artful snare set by the devil. I almost made up my mind to avoid seeing you, for I believed you were an obstacle to my salvation. But in time, O comeliest of women, I saw that my passion need not be sinful, that I could reconcile it with the purest of emotions, that I could submit to you heart and soul. I presume greatly in daring to make an offering of my love to you, but to obtain my dearest wishes, I look more towards your goodness than to my unworthy self. In you are my hope, my welfare, my peace of mind. On you depend my turmoil or my bliss. Upon your decree alone shall I at last be happy, or wretched if it so pleases you.
What a pretty declaration, but one I must admit I find rather surprising. It seems to me that you ought to arm your breast more stoutly and think seriously about what you have in mind. A man of faith such as yourself, a pious man who people say...
Pious I may be, but I am also a man. And when a man is confronted with divine beauty such as yours, his heart will have its way and does not stop to think. I know such words might sound strange on the lips of one such as myself, but when all is said and done, madame, I am no angel. And if you are offended by the declaration I have made to you, you must lay the blame on your own bewitching loveliness. For the moment I saw its barely mortal radiance, my soul was yours to command. The strutting peacocks is a code that women go mad for, flaunt their deeds and speak words of vanity. They're often seen boasting of their conquest. If a lady favors them, they immediately blurt it out, and in their indiscreet tongues, in which so much trust is placed, profane the altar in which they offer up their hearts. But men such as I smolder with less incandescent flames, and secrets are always safe with us. The good care we take in preserving our good name makes us answerable to the reputation of the one we love. And it is with us that women who receive our affection shall find love without fear, passion without scandal.
I have heard you out, and all your eloquent words have no effect on me. Aren't you afraid I might take this to my husband and tell him all about your ardent protestations, and that by declaring your love like this, he might change his friendly feelings for you?
I know you're far too charitable to do any such thing, and you'd forgive my boldness and attribute to human weakness the violence of a love which offends you. And if you reflect in a mirror, you will see that I'm not blind, and a man is made of flesh and blood.
Other women might perhaps take a very different view of this, but I prefer to use discretion. I will say nothing of all this to my husband, but in return, I want you to expedite the marriage of Valère and Molière. And you will also...
No! No! I heard everything. I feel I was brought here by heaven in its wisdom to humble the bride of a brute who wrongs me, to show me a way of being revenged for all his insolence and hypocrisy, of undeceiving my father, and of exposing once and for all the soul of the swine who speaks to you of love.
Gavin, that's enough! Come here. It will be enough for him to mend his ways and deserve the forgiveness I said I will grant him. I have given him my word. Now you don't make me break it. A wife doesn't pay attention to silliness of this sort and trouble her husband.
You have your reasons for wanting it that way, but I have also got my reasons of having it otherwise. You don't seriously intend to let him off the hook, do you? Huh?
Dummy!
The scoundrel has ruled my father for too long, and he has frustrated the cause both of my love and Valère's. My father must be made to see what a two-faced swine is.
Dummy!
And the good Lord has sent me an easy way of doing it. I'm indebted to Providence for giving me this opportunity. It's too good a chance to miss. I deserve it to have it taken away from me if having it within my grasp.
Dummy, I said that's enough.
No! If you don't mind, I must do it in my way. I feel elated, euphoric. And it's no good you telling me I should deny myself the pleasure of having my revenge. I'm going to settle this business before I do anything else. And here comes my means of obtaining satisfaction.
Dummy, that's enough.
Oh, father! Ha 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 ha! Father! We have got something entertaining to mark your arrival. Something that just happened which will amaze you. All your kindness has been repaid. And this gentleman has acknowledged your concern in the handsomest tone. In this very room, I have just overheard him make the most unseemingly declaration for his guilty passion for Madame. She has the kindest nature, and being discreet to a fault was all for keeping it quiet. But, ding ding, I cannot stand by and condone the man's nerve. I consider that to say nothing would be to do you a gross injustice.
I don't believe a wife should trouble her husband's peace of mind by foolish nonsense of this sort. We are better left to take care of these things ourselves. And dummy, my lad, if I'd had it my way, you would have kept all this to yourself.
Merciful heaven! Am I to believe what I just heard?
Yes.
Oh, yes, dear brother. I'm guilty. I am guilty. A knave, a miserable sinner steeped in iniquity, the most wicked villain that ever lived. Every moment of my existence is ranked with wickedness. It's nothing but a heap of crimes and the foulest of deeds. And I see that heaven is set to punish me and is bent on seizing this opportunity for my mortification. Whatever this great crime I may be accused of, I shall not give way to pride and try to defend myself. Believe in what they say, stoke up your anger, send me from your house like a common criminal. Whatever shame is heaped on me, I shall have deserved it much, much, much more.
Oh, you snake in the grass. How dare you try to... How dare you try to smear his virtue with such like you?
You don't mean to say it's
I'll silence a plague on you.
Oh, let him speak. You're wrong to take him to task. It would be far better if you just listen to what he says. After all, do you know what has really happened today here? Do you know what I'm really capable of? Do you take me, brother, for what I seem to be? And if you go by what you see, why do you think me the better for it? No, you're letting yourself be taken in by appearances. For I am, alas, exactly what I'm thought to be. People believe I'm a good man, but there's no health in me. That's right, dear boy. Speak up. Say I'm a two-faced wild, a reprobate, a thief, a murderer. Go on, heap names far worse than these on me. Yes. I shall not deny any one of them. I shall suffer the shame of them on bended knees as a lifetime of crimes.
Oh, no, brother, no. Oh, does your heart feel differently now, you reptile?
You don't mean to say...
Oh, be quiet, you ungrateful wretch. Please, brother, get up. Oh, you are despicable.
What did I do?
Don't say another word. Be quiet. If you say another word, I'll break every bone in your body.
Oh, dear brother, do not let get anger the better of you. I shall suffer any punishment, but I will not get the smallest harm to him on my behalf.
Oh, you ungrateful wretch.
No. Let him be. If you want, I shall get down on my knees and beg you to forgive him.
No, you shall do no such thing. Oh, don't you see what a good man he is, you cur?
Father, he's just playing you.
Be quiet! Hold your tongue! Oh, I know why you have turned on him. You all hate him. At this moment, my wife, my children, the servants, they're all baying for his blood. There are no lengths you won't go to get this saintly man out of my house. But the harder you try, the more determined I am to do everything in my power to make him stay here. Yes, And I shall waste no more time in making sure that he's married to my daughter. Yes, I shall confirm the pride of the family.
You don't mean to say you're going to force her to marry him?
Oh, yes, you snake. In fact, I shall do it this very evening to spite the whole lot of you. Yes. Oh, I defy you. I shall show you that I am to be obeyed. I am the master here. Come. You will get down on your knees this instant, you wretch, and ask to be forgiven.
Would have asked to be forgiven by this swine whose hypocrisy is always so...
Oh, so you refuse, you blackguard, and you add insult to injury. Fetch me a stick. I want a stick. Don't try to stop me. Get out of this house. Don't you ever dare to show me your face again. Get out.
Fine. Very well. I'll go. But remember...
I said get out. This instant. I lay a father's curse upon you. Get out. How dare he insult a saintly man like that?
Oh, heaven, forgive him the sins he has caused me. If only you knew how sad it makes me to see that others are determined on blackening my name. To my dear brother,
Alas.
the thought of such ingratitude is like a sharp dagger in my heart. I feel the full horror of it. My heart is so full that I cannot speak. I think this will be the death of me.
Sorry, I let him off so easily. I should have let him feel the full weight of my hand there and then. You don't take on so, brother. Don't upset yourself.
An end. Let's have an end to all this distressing talk. I see that I have brought great shame upon you and your house. I conclude, dear brother, that if it was much better if I were to leave.
Leave? You aren't serious?
Everyone here hates me. And they're intent on making you doubt my sincerity.
Oh, what of it? You don't think I take them seriously?
Obviously, they're not going to let matters rest as they are. And the kind of tales you've been telling, which you might now dismiss, might seem more believable the next time around.
Never, brother, never.
Oh, dear brother, a wife can twist her husband around a little finger with no trouble at all.
No.
By turning me out, you will enable me to deprive them of renewing such attacks on me.
No, you shall stay. It's a matter of life and death to me.
Very well. I see that I have no choice but to sacrifice my own wishes. I know how to conduct myself. Honor bruises easily. As a friend, I shall allow no comfort for idle talk and damaging innuendo. You shall not see me with your wife.
Oh, no. You shall see her. In fact, I insist that you shall be seen with her all the time. Nothing makes me happier than making these people furious. Oh, and there's more. I shall defy them and choose you as my sole heir. Yes, I shall go right away and have the papers drawn up, making you the sole recipient of all my earthly possessions. A true and faithful friend, chosen by me for a son-in-law, is far dearer to me than a wife or a son or any other family. What do you say to that?
May his will be done in all the things.
Oh, poor man. Come, let's have the papers drawn up, and may the hearts of the Indians stew in their own resentment.
Yes, everyone's talking about it. Believe me, the scandal that this news has caused has done your reputation no good. Just forget what people are saying. Taking all that is noted, and even if Dummy did in fact behave badly with you and wrongly accuse you, don't you think that it's your duty as a Christian man to turn the other cheek and forget any thoughts of revenge? You must calm the situation and not take matters to extremes. Sacrifice your anger to God and reunite the son with his father.
Alas, if it was only myself to consider, I'd willingly do so. I have no bitterness towards him. I have forgiven him completely. I have nothing against him. and would be glad to help him in any way if I could. But heaven has a say in this, and heaven would not agree to it. If he were to come back to this house, then I must leave. After what he has done today, which is quite unheard of, any further contact between us would be a scandal. God knows what people would say. They would put it down to clever maneuvering on my part. People would say that I am guilty and was trying to be nice towards my accuser. That in my heart, I was afraid of him and was trying to reach him out in secret to keep his mouth shut.
You don't fool me with your spurious excuses. Your arguments are far too convoluted. Why do you take it upon yourself to defend the interests of heaven? Does God need our help in punishing sinners? Just leave all matters of divine vengeance to him. Let us just do what heaven bids and not let any other considerations cloud our judgment.
I have already told you I forgave him completely, which is exactly what heaven commands. But after his attitude towards me today, heaven would not agree to it if I were to be in the same room as him.
And does heaven command you to listen to his father's silly whims and accept as gift property to which you have no legal claim?
People who know me will not think that my actions are that of a self-interested man. Worldly possessions hold few attractions for me. I am not dazzled by their false glitter. If I decide to accept the benefaction which Father is kind enough to offer to me, it would only be honestly, because otherwise I feel the property would fall into the wrong hands and would be put to sinful use, rather than employed to the greater glory of God and the good of my fellow men.
Come, sir, forget your fine scruples. Doing this would only allow the rightful heir grounds for legal action. Just let him have what is his and forget about anything else. He can take the risk. And if heaven does indeed give you this aversion to living under the same roof as dummy, don't you think that the decent thing to do would be to leave quietly in the night rather than have the son of the house turned out on your account against all reason? Believe me, it will show you to be a very fair-minded and...
It's now late in the evening. A requirement of religious observance calls me upstairs. You shall forgive me for relieving you so soon.
Oh.
Doreen, I told you last time that I wanted Marianne to have...
It is good to see you all together here. I have something here that'll put a smile on your face, and I think you already know what it is.
Father, in the name of heaven, which knows how miserable I am, and by all that can touch your tenderest feelings, waive your rights as a father and release my heart from its obligation to obey you in this matter. Don't force me to take some extreme step by pushing your authority over me to its limits.
Come, steel yourself, man. No human weakness.
Your affection for him doesn't upset me. Don't be afraid to show it. Give him all your money, and if that's not enough, give him all mine too. But at least, don't include me with it. Instead, let me spend such unhappy days as heaven shall grant me within the austere walls of a convent.
Girls always get started about convents when fathers try to put an end to their romantic notions. The harder you find it to marry him, the better it will be for your eternal soul. Yes, mortify the flesh and stop all this bawling. It's making my head ache.
But what do you...
You! I forbid you from saying another word.
Brother, if I may just offer a piece of advice.
Brother, your advice is always most excellent. I value it highly, but please, let me get by without it.
I am at a loss to know what to say after watching all this. I marvel more and more at your blindness. You must be bewitched by the man, infatuated after what has happened today.
With respect, I go by appearances. I know you have a soft spot for that worthless son of mine. You were afraid to say that it was wrong of him to do the dirty on the poor man. Yes, had the allegation been true, you would have behaved very differently. You took it much too calmly for me to believe you.
Why should a woman behave as if her honor were threatened by a mere declaration of love? Is there no other reaction to whatever threatens it except blazing eyes and a raging tongue? Personally, I just laugh off such advances. I hate to make a fuss of such things, and I'd much prefer it if we women behaved quietly with decorum.
All the same, I know where I stand, and I won't be led up the garden path.
I simply marvel at your blindness. You don't believe us. But what if I were to show you we're telling the truth.
Show me.
Oh, yes.
Rubbish.
Not so hasty, my dear.
Stuff
What?
and nonsense.
What if I were to show you and you were to see with your own eyes?
It's just rubbish.
What a man you are. At least give me an answer. I'm not asking you to take my word for it. But suppose you were to see and hear everything from a place we choose. What would you then say about that excellent man?
In that case, I'd say... I wouldn't say anything because it isn't possible.
This delusion of yours has been going on for too long. I've had enough of being accused of deceiving you. It is now time for my own satisfaction that I've got to make you a witness to the truth of what we have been telling you.
In that case, I'll take you on your promise. Let's see how clever you are.
Very well. Doreen, ask him to come down here.
He's very clever and may be difficult to catch.
Not at all. People are easily taken in when they covet something, and their vanity leads them to deceiving themselves. Ask him to come down here, Doreen. Tell him I have to see him. And both of you, make yourselves scarce. Come on, quickly. Give me a hand with this table, my dear. Oh, hurry up. Now get under it.
What?
It's vital. You have to be hidden. Get under it.
But why under the table?
Oh, just believe me and do as I'm saying. You need to be hidden. And mind, when you're there, you cannot be heard or seen. You will know very well why I'm doing this.
I don't know why I'm doing all this, but I must see how you bring your little plan to a conclusion.
Oh, you will have no cause for complaint. Come on, get under. Quickly. Oh, quickly. Oh, my dear. Oh. All right. Now, I'm going to say some rather strange things. Don't be shocked. I must have a free hand in whatever I say. It's only to convince you, as I promised. You can spare a wife's blushes by exposing me to no more than is necessary to drop the scales from your eyes. That will be your business and for you to decide. Now, shush. I can hear him come now. Don't be heard or seen.
I was informed you wished to speak to me here.
Yes, I had something to say to you in confidence, but please shut the door before we begin. We don't want another business like this morning's. Dummy made me terribly afraid for you. You must have seen all the efforts I took to calm his anger down. The truth is I was so disconcerted that it never entered my head to deny his accusations. But thank heavens, the storm has deflected and my husband will not be suspicious of you anymore. He also insists on us being seen together as often as possible, which means I can be alone with you here in this room and not be afraid of being criticized for it. It also means that I can reveal to you the feelings of my heart, which is only too ready to acknowledge your love.
I find it difficult to follow your drift, madame. Just a little while ago you spoke very differently.
Oh, how little you understand about a woman's love if such a rebuff has offended you. How little you understand what we mean to convey if we put up such weak defenses. At first we resist, but soon our manner of resisting only promises everything. When I asked you to say no to the marriage that had just been announced, what did that mean to convey to you, if not that I was attracted to you and well regretted the tying of the knot, which would have left me to share an affection I wanted entirely to myself?
Madame, it's indeed delightful to hear such words from the lips of the woman one loves. Their honey sets coursing through my whole being, sensations sweeter than I have ever known before. Finding favor in your eyes is my principal concern, and all my hope of paradise lies in your love. Yet, forgive this heart of mine for doubting its own felicity. I might interpret what you say as a virtuous stratagem to induce me from giving up my impending marriage. And to put matters frankly to you, madame, I shall place no faith in your words, unless I am vouchsafed a sweet foretaste for the favors for which I yearn. Only that will reassure me of what they say is true, and plant an unshakable belief in my heart of the delectable affection you express for me.
Why must you go so fast? Would you have me reveal everything to you all at once? It has cost me dear to confess the tenderest regard for you, and is it still not enough? Well, how can you push me to such extremes?
The less deserving we are, the less we dare to hope. Our dearest wishes take little comfort in words and place little faith in the prospect of felicity. We must enjoy it before we can believe in it. Knowing myself how little I deserve your favors, I doubt the outcome of my boldness. I shall not believe in it, madame, until I am given proof strong enough to satisfy my passion.
Oh! How masterful you are when passion speaks. I'm left not knowing where I am. Oh, good gracious, is there no way of escaping your attentions? Will you not even let me catch my breath? How can you push me to such extremes and take advantage of the fondness I have for you?
But if you look at my advances to the favorable light, why deny me convincing proof?
How can I consent to give you what you ask for without offending him whose name is ever on your lips?
If fear of heaven is the only obstacle towards my passion, that's a barrier I can easily remove. That should not something should hold you back.
Aren't we told to fear the wrath of heaven?
I can dispel such foolish fears for you, madame. I know the art of removing such scruples. It's true that heaven forbids us certain forms of self-indulgence, but one can reach accommodations with heaven. Depending on the circumstance of the case, there is a method on removing the constraints on the conscience, by rectifying the evil we have done, by pointing to the purity of our intentions. I can instruct you in the secret matters, madame. All you have to do is allow yourself to be led by me, satisfy my passion, and have no fear. I shall be answerable to everything and will take the sin upon myself. That's a nasty cough you have.
Yes, I feel as though I'm on the rack.
Would you care for a little of the licorice water?
No, I'm sorry, but I don't think any amount of licorice water will help me at this moment.
It's obviously a trial for you.
Oh, more than I can say.
As I was saying then, your scruples can be easily removed. That should not something should hold you back. You see, all this will remain a secret. The harm of an action lies in it being known. Public scandal is what constitutes offense. Sins committed in private are no offense at all.
Very well. I must make up my mind and admit to give you what you ask for, because nothing less will convince you. And well, it's hard that things have come to such a pass, and it's very much against my will that I have to do this. But since you leave me with no option, since me saying that I surrender does not do and you need more convincing proofs, I must just agree to give you what you ask for. But if in consenting I offend, it's so much worse for the man who pushes me to such extremes. The fault cannot be considered mine.
Yes, madame, on my head be it.
Oh, very well. Go ahead and check if my husband is in the gallery.
Why are you so afraid of him? Between ourselves, he's the sort of man who can be easily led through his nose. And he takes immense pleasure in our little talks together. And I've got him to such a point where he can see anything with his own eyes and not believe in it.
Very well. All the same, go and check if anyone else is there in the gallery.
Oh, there goes. Oh, I admit it. There goes an abominable scoundrel. Oh, it's all too much for me. I can't take it.
Why have you come out from under the table so soon? Nothing has happened yet. You will spoil everything. Get under there right now.
No. Hell itself hasn't made anything more wicked.
Oh, you are always running to conclusions. Be absolutely sure before admitting you were wrong. Now get under there. He's coming. Now get under there. Right now.
Everything conspires to favor my happiness, madame. I've looked in all the rooms. There's no
Hold
one
it
in the
right
night.
there! Oh, you're getting away with your lustful feelings, my man. So you have the nerve to go behind my back. Oh, all the while you were set on marrying my daughter. You've been lusting after my wife. I waited, expecting you to change your tune. But it didn't happen. I, for one, require no further proof.
It was against my better feelings that I had to treat you like this, but I was forced to do
this.
Seriously,
Oh, don't need to talk any further. Leave this house.
You're the one who's going to have to leave. You speak as though you're the master here. The house belongs to me, and I shall let you know of it. There is no use resorting to such petty stratagems to start an argument with me. You're not on such sure grounds as you think you are when you insult me. I have ways and means of exposing and punishing your hypocrisy, and of avenging this affront to heaven, and of making those who think of making me leave regret it.
What was he talking about? What did he mean?
Oh, this is awkward. My deed of gift is beginning to worry me.
What deed of gift?
It's all signed and sealed. Oh, but more than that, there's a briefcase that worries me.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, I'll tell you everything. But I must first check if a certain briefcase with some documents is still upstairs.
Where are you going off to?
Oh, Lord, what do I know?
I think we should start by putting our heads together and coming up with what to do under the circumstances.
Oh, it's a certain briefcase I'm worried the most about.
What's in the briefcase? Some sort of secret?
Argaz, a friend of mine, swore me to secrecy and entrusted some documents on which he said his life and property depended.
Why did you entrust this to someone else?
Oh, due to a scruple of conscience, the scoundrel had me convinced. He said I'd have a ready answer. If someone asked, I could say I didn't have it.
Seems to me that you're in a very difficult position by the look of it. Both your deed of gift as well as your decision to entrust Tartuffe were things you took all too lightly. Now he has them and he can get you into very serious trouble. You should not have provoked him when he had such a strong position over you. You acted way too hastily in this situation.
What? Oh, that's it. I'll have nothing to do with men of God anymore. I'll behave as if no treatment is too good for them.
There you go. Flying off the handle again. Are you incapable of moderation? Do you completely lack common sense? You're always flying from one extreme to another. You realize the error of your ways when you were done in by a pretense of piety, but where's the sense in correcting one mistake by making an even bigger one, and not being able to distinguish between people who are genuinely good and a deceitful rogue? Yes, this one scoundrel had the nerve to pull the wool over your eyes, but that doesn't mean everyone is like that and that there are no more devout men of God left nowadays. Leave such inferences for the freethinkers. And it's true, we shouldn't be done in by imposters, but can't say anything against men of God either. If you are to go to extremes, better you err on the side that you had before.
Father, is it true that the swine is threatening you? That he has forgotten all the kindness you showed him? And that with an effrontery which is enough to make anyone see red? Father, is the cover turning your own generosity against you?
Yes, my son. I too am very pained by it.
Leave this to me. I'll cut his ears off. It's no good taking half measures with such damn impertinence. I'll take care of him. I'll get rid of him for you. If you're going to get out of this, I'm going to save good seeing.
Just calm down, for goodness sake. Don't get so excited. It's all young men's talk. We live in an age where violence is met with the worst by the law.
What's all this? What's all the strange and terrible things that I hear going around the house, my son?
It's all only just happened, Mother. I saw it all with my own eyes. So this is the reward I get for all my pains. Out of Christian charity, I help a man who's fallen on hard times. I invite him to my home. I give him a room. I treat him as a brother. I shower kindness on him daily. I give him my daughter and every penny I possess. But meanwhile, this deceitful rogue comes up with a foul intrigue to seduce my wife. And not content with it, he now plans to evict me from the house that I have made out for him and reduce me to the gutter that I rescued him from.
Oh, I simply cannot believe that he intended to do such a wicked thing.
I beg your pardon, Mother.
Well, you know, people always envy those who walk in righteousness.
What on earth do you mean, Mother?
I mean, there are queer going-ons around in this house that you're not aware of. But I'm quite aware of how much is hated around over here.
Oh, what has his being hated got to do with what I'm telling you?
When you were a little boy, I used to tell you over and over again, virtue on earth is persecuted ever. The envious die, but envy never.
But what has that got to do with what's going on now?
Well, they'll be making up endless idle talk about him for your benefit.
Mother, I told you, I saw his wickedness with my own eyes.
Well, you know, there's no end to the malice of slandering tongues.
Godmother, you'll drive me to perdition.
Slandering tongues have always plenty of poison to spread. There's nothing down here below that can be done to prevent it.
Now you're talking nonsense. Mother, I already told you I saw him with my own eyes in the fullest sense of the word saw. Do I have to shout at the top of my voice?
Good gracious! Appearances are deceptive more often than not. You shouldn't always judge people by what you see.
Oh, I can't stand this.
You know, I've always told you, it's human nature to misinterpret goodness.
Oh, am I to interpret it as an act of kindness that he's seducing my wife?
No, you know what? You shouldn't always make accusations until you're quite sure of your cause, and you should have made it until you're quite sure of your ground.
Oh, the devil take it. How could I have been more sure? Should I have waited and watched until... Oh, you'll make me say something I shouldn't.
All I see is a man of immense faith. Well, I simply cannot believe what he's doing and from what you're saying.
Oh, God, Mother. If you weren't my mother, I don't know what I would have done. I'm that angry.
Well, serves you right, sir. All this while, you wouldn't believe any of us. And now, Madame would not believe you.
We need to stop wasting time with this nonsense. We need to make plans and not lie in this villain's threats.
But why? Do you think he'd really have the nerve to carry them out?
I don't think he'll have much of a case. His ingratitude is too glaring.
Don't count on it. He'll do everything he can to justify his actions. Intrigues and cabals have gotten people into trouble with a lot less evidence. I repeat what I said before. Should not have provoked him when you knew he had such a strong hold over you.
Yes, but what could I do? He had such colossal nerve, I lost control of myself.
I just wish there's some way we can patch together a reconciliation of sorts.
If I'd known what a strong position he was in, I would have never been party to such unpleasantness.
Oh, now, whoever is this? I don't have time for visitors. Go take a look.
Good day, dear sister in the Lord. Please inform your master that I wish to speak to him.
Well, he has visitors at the moment, and I don't think he really wants to see anyone.
But I haven't come here to cause any trouble. I don't think my visit will upset him in any way. In fact, I think he'll be very pleased with what I've come about.
Your name?
Just tell him I've sent on behalf of Monsieur Tartuffe for his own good.
It's someone sent in by Monsieur Tartuffe. He appears very polite and insists that he's come about and you're going to be very pleased with what he's come about.
You must go see what the man wants.
How should I conduct myself?
Just don't show him how resentful you are. He speaks of reconciliation, hear him out.
My respects to you, sir. May heaven confound all those who wish to do you harm and look upon you with as favorable an eye as I could wish.
It already sounds like a reconciliatory tone.
I have always been devoted to your family,
I was once in your father's service.
Oh, I'm very embarrassed, sir. I don't recognize you, nor do I recall your name.
The name's Molière, a native of Normandy. I have been a court bailiff for 40 years, though some would have it otherwise. I have discharged my duty with honor, and now I'm here, sir, to serve this writ upon you, excusing the liberty.
What? You're
Yes,
here to...
sir, it's nothing, just a writ. An order for you and yours to get out of the house, take all your belongings with you, without delay and postponement, or another party to move in, as herein provided.
What? Me get out of my house?
Yes, it's nothing, sir. For this day and forth, this house now belongs to Monsieur Tartuffe, as you are well aware of. He is lord and master of everything that you own, by the virtue of a deed I have about my person. It's perfectly legal, and it will do no good in disputing it.
You have got to admire the man's no.
My business is not with you, sir, but with this gentleman over here. He seems reasonable and amenable and far too aware of what an upright man's duty is to interfere with the course of justice. Yes, sir, I'm sure you won't interfere with the law. Not in a million. You'll allow me to do my business as a decent gentleman would.
This rate, Brother Bailiff. You're going to end up feeling the weight, not of the law, but of my arm. Blackguard or no blackguard, I don't care!
Please ask your son to hold his tongue, sir, or go away. I'd be very sorry to make a note of this and put him down in my report.
Oh, well, at the rate he's going on, he should be called Monsieur Disloyal and not Monsieur Lawyer.
I have a soft spot for God-fearing people, and I only took consideration of this writ to be helpful, sir, so that the job does not go to someone who is not as tactful as I have been, someone who does not have my kindly sentiments towards you and your family.
Oh, I'd gladly give the last 100 francs I have to land the biggest fist in the history of fists on this road.
I've been giving you time, sir. I'll give you a leave of execution until tomorrow. I'll come down, stay the night with a few of my men, and for form's sake, sir, if you don't mind, I'll have to ask you to hand over your keys before you go to bed. I'll make sure nothing isn't as it should be, and you and yours are well rested. But first thing tomorrow morning, you'll have to look sharp and clear everything down to the last cup and saucer. My men will, of course, help you out. They are a good, strong set of lads who I've picked for you. And now, since I am being so fair to you, I would expect the same from you, sir, and not to interfere with...
This is more than I can take! The barefaced cheek of the man, I'm itching to get my hands on him.
Monsieur Loyal, you're brought back to do the good amount of dusting with broom and handle.
Please watch what you say, my girl. The law applies to women as well, you know.
Just enough of all that. Hand over the writ and leave.
Until we meet again, then, sir. May the Lord make the sun shine upon all of you.
Aye. And may he confound you, and the man who sent you. Now do you see, mother, what the deceitful rogue has done?
I simply don't know what to say. I'm just flabbergasted.
Well, you have no cause to complain and mustn't blame him. All he has done is with the most pious of intentions and goes to serve his utmost expression of love for his neighbor. For a man like him knows that earthly possessions can corrupt anyone, and he's doing it on selfless charity on his part to remove every obstacle in the path of your salvation, sir.
Oh, be quiet. I'm always having to tell you.
Let's get some advice on the course of action to proceed with now.
Expose the scoundrel, go to the authorities. This latest outrage definitely invalidates the deed of gift. His utter lack for scruple is too wild to let him think he will succeed the way he will.
I'm very sorry to be the bringer of bad news, sir, but I had no choice. You're in great danger. A friend of mine who loves me dearly and knows what good cause I have in your welfare has just given me the information, the gist of which is that you must leave at once. The villain who has so long imposed upon you has gone to the king an hour ago and denounced you. Among the various accusations he made, he also handed over a substantial briefcase which he said was of a political agitator, and you're guilty of concealing it as a breach of conduct as a duty of a subject. I don't know the particulars of the crime you're accused of, but an arrest warrant has been issued against you, sir. He's a shattering blow.
He's strengthened his hand. This is how he means to back his claim to all your possession and be master of everything you own.
Oh, that deceitful rogue.
Sir, this is not a moment to waste. I have my car waiting outside on 1,000 francs I have with me here. You must leave at once, sir. This is a shattering blow. I'll stay with you till you're out of danger, sir.
Oh, I'm very grateful for your help, friend. I wish I had more time to express my gratitude properly, but I must rush now.
Just leave quickly, brother. We'll take care of everything else that needs to be done.
Not so fast, sir. Hold it just there. Don't rush off like that. You don't have to travel very far to get where you're going. You're a prisoner in the name of His Majesty.
Why, you deceitful rogue, you had this last piece of knavery reserved.
Your insults are powerless to provoke me. I'm schooled to suffer everything for the sake of God.
I've never seen such meekness.
Always this impudent villain makes mock of heaven.
Such outbursts leave me unmoved. My only thought is towards the Lord's duty.
What credit are you hoping to gain from this? How can you believe that what you're doing is honorable?
Whatever we can do is only honorable if it proceeds from the right authority.
And have you forgotten that I have helped you out of your gutter?
Oh, yes, I am aware of the help I've received from you. But my first duty is towards the world. For such a sacred obligation, it is so sacred it has extinguished all sense of gratitude in me. And for such a powerful and worldly cause, I can sacrifice friends, family, wife, and myself along with them.
Hypocrite.
How cleverly he covers his villainy with the mantle of everything that we hold most dear.
If this consuming zeal of yours is as great as you claim, why did it wait to manifest itself only after he caught you making advances to his wife? Why must you wait to denounce him till he was honor bound to throw you out? And if you must treat him like a criminal, why accept anything from him in the first place?
Oh, deliver me from the shouting match, sir, and be good enough to proceed with your order.
I suppose I've taken too long about it already. And you do well to remind me of my duty. So, to carry out my instructions, I order you to follow me forthwith to the prison where you are to be held.
Who, me?
Yes, you.
But why prison?
I am not obliged to explain anything to you, sir. Calm yourself, sir. You've had a serious fright. We live in a state that does not tolerate fraud and is not taken in by the wiles of hypocrites. On men of worth, we confer our everlasting glory, and we never distribute our favor blindly. Our love of good men and truth does not exclude hatred for those who are false. This man could never have deceived us. We've avoided far more cunning traps than this. All the documents of yours, he says, are his. I am to take from him and return to you. The minister, by an act of sovereign prerogative, has annulled the deed that gives him title to all your possessions. Furthermore, he pardons you of that clandestine offense in which the flight of a friend involved you. This clemency he bestows upon you in recognition of your loyal service, which we saw you show in former times, to let it be known that we can reward a good action when it's least expected, are never close to true merit, and choose rather to remember good than evil. Good day, sir. Come along, you.
Heavens be praised!
Oh, my son. Now I can breathe again. Oh, God, oh Lord.
Who would have expected this?
You villain, you coward, you deceitful rogue.
Oh, come now, brother. Let's not stoop to such indignities. Leave him to his remorse and hope that he changes his ways after this. For all that, you must get down on bended knee and thank his minister for the kindness he has shown you.
Yes, that is well spoken. Yes, we shall go rejoicing, and we shall ask him, express our gratitude, and after that duty we have another to perform, to crown the happiness of Molière, a constant lover and a sincere friend.